Chiapas, the southern province of Mexico, a land with incredible jungles, but also the second largest cacao producing region in Mexico and home to many cattle farms. For the next few days, I was going to join the conservation organization FONCET in this region for the pilot program to rewild the cattle farms of Chiapas. I was about to learn a lot about this topic. Just a few days ago, I had contact with one of the organizations here in the province of Chiapas that is all about nature and wildlife conservation, and they do various projects to sustain their mission. And I asked them if there was any way of getting involved. Now, they were happy but also a little bit hesitant because of the current situation, but now they have agreed for me to go on a 2-day project with them. It's going to be their first cocoa plantation project, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I know very minimal about the actual project itself. All I know is that 200 trees have been donated. We are going to an old cocoa plantation, and we're going to be going to a cattle ranch where we will be planting the trees to give the cattle farmers a more agroecological way of income. So that is all I basically know, which is really exciting. But because I like planning, I hardly slept because of this, because I know so little. But they're going to be here in about an hour, so I have to get packing, and then we can head off south. When Héctor and Wences arrived, we started our journey towards Pijijiapan and Mapastepec in the south of Chiapas along the Pacific. During our drive, I started to learn about the complexity of the project they were setting up as a pilot. Very simply said, they were on a mission to show cattle farmers that instead of chopping down forest and planting grass for the cows, it would benefit the cows, the farmers, and the environment to reintroduce native tree species to the cow pastures that currently existed. And these trees would in turn also offer shade, which would provide a great environment for cacao to grow, offering the farmers an alternative source of income. But before we did anything, it was time for lunch.
Well, as you can see, this is the production, the cattle production during the dry season here in Chiapas. This is the common system, but what we work is silvopastoral systems, and this is the model of during the same season 1 year later with silvopastoral system, principal tree for feed these animals, and also it will combine with some grasslands. But this is the system. This is the idea. The cows only eat grasslands. They don't. They also eat shades of trees, and the important and the most important, these trees are native from Chiapas.
After lunch and the amazing views, we made a quick stop at the river and then at a little store to get some goods for the rest of the journey. Okay, so we've made a quick stop on our way to the cacao plantation, and I have been given a traditional drink which is from the pre-Hispanic times, and it is called pozol. This, and it was originally made with just the corn, but after the Spanish conquering of Mexico, the cacao was added to it as well, and it's a very traditional drink. I've never tasted it before, so yeah, we're gonna try it out. And then also there was a warning that if I try this drink, I will live in Chiapas forever. So I'm curious to see if that is going to be true. Oh, nice. That is so strange. It's like a pulpy chocolate milk. But then it doesn't taste so processed. It tastes really nice. Once we had our goods, we were back on our way to the cacao plantation. Here, 200 trees were donated to be planted on a cattle ranch. During our drive to the cacao plantation, we saw many major palm oil plantations and mass banana plantations that use a lot of agrochemicals. Planes are used to spray these plantations. It made me quite sad when I realized how much produce is grown using super harsh chemicals. These chemicals enhance the yields for the first 1 to 3 years, but very negatively impact the soil's health and insect populations, among many other downsides. After we passed the mass plantations, we arrived at this little green oasis, a completely naturally sustained cacao plantation. So after about 6 hours of traveling, we have made it to the cacao plantation. And when we first started this trip, I just thought we would be getting some plants, some cacao trees, taking them to a cattle farm. But what these guys are doing is actually pretty insane, because they are trying to create a more diverse landscape on the cattle ranch. Basically, the thought here socially is that you need to cut the grass, burn the grass, and have grass and your cattle, which in turn destroys the jungle landscape and the biodiversity. So what they are doing is they are convincing cattle farmers that it is a good idea to have trees and stuff where the cattle is roaming around, and to plant cacao under it. So first of all, you're contributing to the biodiversity of an area. It sucks up more methane than just grass. It's good for the insects, it's good for the animals, and then also the cacao plants, which will grow under the trees, of course bring an extra income stream. So what we're going to be doing here now is a cattle farmer is on its way, and here they're going to show him the cacao plantation and how it works. And also this is where we're picking up the trees that we'll be taking to the cattle ranch tomorrow. So we have to load them up in the truck. Once the trees were loaded, it was time to show Pablo, the cattle farmer, around. From what I heard, he was very impressed by the plantation. Another awesome thing about the cacao is when they fall on the ground, they are a source of nutrients for the soil and its life, but also for example, woodpeckers and squirrels.
This is criollo, and this is trinitario. The flavor is different.
Wow.
For the chocolate, this is the best.
The white one?
The white ones.
But how come the plant produces two different types in one
Because
seed?
the pollination. This is one pollen, this is another pollen.
What? That's crazy.
It's like corn.
That's so insane. Once we had finished at the cacao plantation, day one had come to an end. We headed out for some dinner and then made ourselves comfortable in a hotel in Mapastapec. To be honest, today has been quite a long, eventful day, but also very educational. Tomorrow we'll be visiting the actual cattle farm, where I'm interested to see what it actually looks like and how they handle things there. For now, it's time to go to bed. It's been a long day. We've been on the road for quite a while, so I need a good night's sleep. But I'm ready to get at it again tomorrow morning. It is so nice to be in Chiapas with the mountains and like the clouds over the mountains. It's going to be a good day today because we're going to be going to the cattle farmer, and here we're going to test the ground as well and see how healthy it is, and make some aerial shots with my drone so that they can afterwards compare the before and the after of what the area is looking like and how well it has improved after implementing the new type of cattle farming onto the ranch. When we got to the cattle farm, Héctor and Wences went straight into talks with the cattle ranch owner Pablo. He was very excited about the project and very open-minded to the different aspects it would involve. Wences explains why introducing these systems are so important.
These spaces has changed. Now they are, as I say, coal fields, and unfortunately it contributes to the loss of biodiversity in this area. It contributes to the climate change because of the way of the management of the system. But the silvopastoral systems and other strategies of management of cattle can improve this situation. The trees benefit the cattle in terms of shade. The diet it's complementary to the grasslands. On the other hand, incorporate trees in the cow field. It makes you reduce temperature for the cow. It reduces the stress for the animal, so they don't lose weight. When you put a plantation of fodder trees with fruital, you increase the biodiversity in the zone. For example, they became island for birds, for little bugs, little mammals, reptiles. These spaces became grasslands that you can only have maybe birds to have a lot of species, not only birds. Also, you reactivate the pollination process. At least in the sun, you reduce the evaporation of the water at the soil. You reduce the soil erosion, so it has multiple functions. And in social terms, well, you have the opportunity to mix the incomes of the producer, no? Because the forage trees not only benefits the cows. If you include some fruit trees, for example, cacao or mango, you can also have the income of that production that it doesn't fight with the cattle production. That's why we promote silvopastoral system to recover soil, to recover forests, because we understand that finally the people that live in the agropecuarian frontier, finally they are the most vulnerable people to climate change, and to poverty. So that's why we took all our efforts to improve their systems.
Once we had unloaded the cacao plants, Héctor, the coordinator of the cacao, explained to me what we would be doing on the ranch when it came to this part of the project.
Also, what we want to do here is to pilot, to try different kinds of shadow where cacao grows better. And it's a kind of research. And the first time we are working with cacao, and it's interesting because we really want to know which place is better to grow the cacao.
While Wences and Héctor continued their talks with Pablo, Pablo's son took me to see their ranch and the cattle. What are you guys doing?
Actually, they're staring at you.
At me?
Yeah.
At me? Why are they staring?
You were walking and all the cows were looking at you. And they were like...
Who is she? We don't know her. Once we were done with our escapade, we met up with Héctor and Wences from FONCET, where they were taking soil samples for testing to find out about the health of the soil on Pablo's ranch.
I'm trying to see if there is life in the soil. In the other one, it was a lombriz, ¿cómo se dice?
Worm.
It was a worm.
Soon after this, I had to leave for my stay at an eco-hostel in the mangroves nearby. But I thought it was so exciting to learn about what FONCET was trying to achieve by rewilding the cattle farms of Chiapas, and it was even more exciting to meet a cattle farmer who was enthusiastic about this project and open to support it and try out the pilot on his land. If you guys liked this video and would like to see more of this type of content on my channel, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to be sure not to miss another video, just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye for now, and until the next adventure.